Efficient in the first half. We were really good at the start of the second half and with the chances and the control that we had. But we gave it away. We made a huge mistake. It cost us a goal. We made another one for the penalty. But then I love the reaction of my players. That's what we want. You know, you want to be at the top. You're going to make mistakes. You want to take risks. You're going to be part of something that sometimes is not nice to be. But you have that kind of reaction top. So really proud of them.
It's about the details, you know, making sure you're always focused every minute of the game, you know, whether that's transition moments, set pieces, and, you know, we're still not there.
Yeah, we can talk about the last 25 minutes, but I think, especially those games, I think if you consider goals like this, I think, and it's difficult, you know, so, yeah, it's really, really painful.
I'm guessing you've seen the Trossard and Kulusevski thing in the penalty area. What are your thoughts on that?
My thoughts are exactly the same as they have been all year. The game does not get officiated at the stadium, it gets officiated somewhere else. So that's why I don't celebrate goals, mate. I wait for somebody down the road to tell me what a decision is.
The ending was horrible, but, you know, we're worth it in the end. You know, we're all happy.
3 to play. You don't need 3 more like that, do you?
Well, I have 3 points, so why not?
Thank you very much. Good answer. That was a stupid question.
Well, I sort of understood what Steve was trying to say, but I mean, they were, weren't they? They were dominant for an hour or so and then kind of let Tottenham back into it.
Yeah, they was magnificent. They started really strong. The first half, they dominated that whole first half. But you have to give some credit to Spurs. I think second half, it felt like a derby. We was out of our seats towards the end because it was so exciting. But the pleasing thing for Arsenal was they stood up to it in the end and they still got the win.
Now, I feel like we've done this analysis many. No, I'm not saying you do the same thing every time you come in, but we do this.
You got a point.
We do this analysis all the time, particularly with Arsenal. I mean, look, you can see the number of set pieces that Tottenham have conceded this season. They're 6th, but Arsenal are top in the set piece goals that they scored. I mean, they are dominant on set pieces this season, but you had a sense that Tottenham didn't really help themselves either.
No, I don't think they shy away from that record either. I think Arteta will be really proud of that record. Why wouldn't you be? Usually, but this is the first goal. First goal in any game is so important. Like, they're marked zonal, and you can see Madison, Kulusevski, their blockers around the back. So Arsenal have been clever. They've come in from the sort of blind side, should we say? And obviously, Højbjerg ends up having an ONG. But watch here, Tomiyasu around the back, Mark. If you watch him, so all the Tottenham players as we see now are square onto the ball. And you see around the back, you see the Arsenal players all grouped in a bunch. So that the big guys are all around the back, and they're going to charge across. So what they're coming from the blind side of the Tottenham players. They don't know when they're going to arrive. Yes, the ball's coming, and Tomiyasu just blocks, just gets a little bump on Højbjerg at this point and just pits him off. And of course, that's the first goal from a set play, an important goal in a big derby.
Yeah, and this is the second goal, exactly the same. This is Kai Havertz, and he's heading that from 3 yards out. We've seen this goal many a time, but we've just highlighted Kulusevski, who's meant to be blocking Havertz. And if we keep an eye on him, Tomiyasu makes the same run. Kulusevski actually gets blocked by Ben Davies because he's looking at the ball, and it gives his man Havertz a free header. Here's Ben White, very clever. That's not a foul at all. He's just stopped Vicario from coming and maybe punching that. And Nicholas Jover's pleased, but Ben White, they've always got somebody on the goalkeeper at all times, and it isn't a foul, it's just stopping him. Shay, I don't know, what would you, because it happened in the first goal, they've got to change something in the second goal.
Well, it's clever, and we talk about set play coaches, all that stuff has to work. They come on the blind side. White's brilliant on the goalkeeper, but I think Vicario has to learn from the first one or the second one and bring a defender in there.
Well, that's what you've always told me, that if you as a goalkeeper feel that they're going to put an attacker on you, you get one of your own defenders in between you and the attacker.
Yeah.
Yes?
So sometimes I think modern-day players, this is only my opinion, sometimes they get overcoached. So sometimes Vicario's in the position. Now, his option is to get a defender on the outside of the White who can go and clear the space and go and head that. Or the other option is maybe an old school, Gary Neville used to do it, and walk the defender away from Vicario and then gives them the space to come and punch it. Because Havertz only heads that from 3 yards. Normally that would be the goalkeeper's ball to come and punch it. But
the other thing, and talk about doing the same analysis, I asked the same question, and I think we may have done this even last weekend. If all of their players are on the back post and you put all of your defenders on the front post, you aren't going to see them coming. So what you have to change it.
And the crazy thing is, all of the Tottenham players are towards the front post, and that's where the goals are scored from. So I'm sure Tottenham have many analysts that are analysing set pieces, and then you've got the in-game play, which we spoke about last week, where if especially on the second one, that's the real one, because it's just happened before. You've got to change it. Now, in my opinion, whether that's coming out of the zonal marking situation and going to man mark, or at least being on the half turn and understanding what they're trying to do. And it just sums up with Ben White and the goalkeeper, the same thing exactly twice, and they haven't made an adjustment on it.
It's the in-game changes, isn't it? You know, I mean, I don't know how many analysts then will change things in games. It's already it's all very well having a plan. But if it isn't working, the analysts and the players
sit on here, we
change
talk about set play coaches from a positive point of view, because that's the positive setup from Arsenal. But also the set play coach from Tottenham, from a defensive point of view, will look at that and go, that's not right. But at the same time, sometimes I think the players have to take the responsibility on the pitch. I'm not happy with this because I can't see where the player's coming from. We need to change this on the pitch and take some responsibility.
I just want to look at the second Arsenal goal. Now Ange Postecoglou isn't saying we should have had a penalty. He's basically saying it's not overturned by a man further down the road. Yeah. Do you think they have a case?
I do, yeah. I think that Tottenham should feel hard done by this. It's a ball out to a ball from Maddison to Kulusevski. And I don't think that Trossard means it, but I do think he's caught him. I don't think the second one, they checked both of them. But
we were told it wasn't given for that there was minimal contact. But
there's contact.
There's contact.
Yeah, and on the contact, you can see that Kulusevski starts going forward, and maybe credit to him that he doesn't go straight down, but he doesn't get the penalty.
And this is a big moment, Mark. This is the second goal. They break from that. Obviously, Wright passes it out wide to Havertz, and Saka's on his bike. Now, you look at Davis and then Tottenham as a whole, they actually get back into a sort of relatively decent defensive position. Now, at this point, Davis has to send Saka away from goal, down the line away onto his weaker right foot, away from goal, gives Vicario a better chance on the angle as well. And how many times have we seen Saka do that? He's one of the best in the world at doing that. Maybe going back to an Ian Robin or something, or a Damien Duff, they cut him in the left foot. And it's a brilliant finish from him. But I think if they get him away from goal, then they've got a chance of defending him.
OK. And you rescue because he didn't want to do the Ben Davies bit because Ben's his mate.
Not speaking to me now, is he?
If there was one man who grabbed the game by the scruff of the neck from a Tottenham, we'll come back to Arsenal in a minute, but from a Tottenham point of view, and who was everywhere, was Christian Romero.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Christian Romero, and it's exactly what you want to see in this situation where the team were getting dominated. This is in the first half. That's a really good header. Unfortunately, it doesn't go in. He actually hits the post on this one, so he's unlucky on those two headers. But then second half, he's decided, I'm going to get the game by the scruff of the neck on my own from centre half and push my team on, and he really drove the team forward. You can see, normally you win that and then you stand the halfway line. He wants to get into the box and try and create something for his team. As it happens, he has another good chance here, and again, I think he's unlucky. He beats both players and it just goes over. This is such an interesting one. He's the last man for Tottenham. He steps in, he plays it, and it actually gets cut out. Now, a centre-half would never normally do this. He's gone and pressed. He's gone and pressed the centre-half. Unfortunately for him, David Raya makes a mistake, and it's actually quite a cool finish from him, and we can see it. It's on the half volley, and he tucks it away nicely. But the guy in the second half, he decided that's the attitude that you want. You see, he just decided, I'm not going down without a fight, and I'm going to change the way the momentum of the game's going.
He is, and if you actually look at the stats here from an attacking point of view, I mean, he tops the ranks for Tottenham today in an attacking point of view, barring in a couple of those. I mean, he is their heartbeat, isn't he? Yeah. Probably Son as well. But
and again, obviously high stakes. The North London derby, fans were up for it. And Romero was a really good example. They could have 3-0 down. They could have gone, well, I don't fancy this. But Ash is right. He's actually going, no, we're not accepting this. We're actually going to go down with the fight. Obviously, Arsenal had enough in the end to hold on.
Look at Arsenal's midfield and how they worked today then with Thomas Partey, who's coming back from injuries, his third start, and how he's dovetailing with Rice.
I really like them two in there. I really do. Rice and Partey in the middle gives them. I mean, Saliba and the two centre halves, Gabriel, get a lot of credit this year. But I think with these guys, especially obviously Rice has played more games than Partey. This is at the early part of the game. Tottenham are doing a high press. Partey just drops the shoulder and they're out. And it's just the balance. I think. You look at Arsenal great teams of the past. A Petit or a Vieira. That's the kind of sort of nature I would hold them. And and again, Declan Rice in the overlap comes back out to Partey, wins a free kick on the edge of the box. Just really protecting the sort of the back four, but they also have the license to get forward at the right time as well. Again, look at the shape right in front of the back four, reading the game. I think this is the penalty thing that maybe I thought maybe it wasn't, maybe it was unlucky, but at the same time Rice picks it up. He sets Saka off, and this is obviously, we talked about it before, the second goal, how important the second goal was. It's just playing calmness on the edge of your own box. He could have hoofed that clear, but he picks a nice pass to Saka, and of course Ashley's best mate Davis here, shows him the wrong way, but it's a brilliant finish. It's a brilliant finish from Saka, of course. But again, this is second half now. This is when the tide's turning a bit. You want your midfielders to dig in. Now he's helping his defender out. He's just blocking off the midfielder on there, Maddison. And again, just nice control. Chapper's in that position. This time, Odegaard gives it away. Watch Party's reaction here. Sprints straight back into the trouble. Gets a little touch on the ball. The danger's gone. And watch this from Rice. He's just, tackle. Back in again, another tackle. Now he drives from midfield. Many times you see Patrick Vieira driving from midfield from an Arsenal point of view, and just nice and controlled in there. And this is really into injury time now. All hands to the pump. I think they're playing a back 10 perhaps here. Arsenal just trying to see the game out. The very last play of the game. Look, Party's in the middle. Rice is getting back in. Party's in here, gets a clearance, and who's first to the ball in the edge of the box in the last kick of the game is his midfield partner Declan Rice. And I thought today them two were absolutely brilliant.
There are certain things with Arsenal that Mikel, and there are certain players that Mikel Arteta won't rotate. But his midfield options are really interesting, aren't they? Depending on what he requires from a game, whether that's these two in that situation or dropping Havertz back into a three.
I think
he's got every option.
Yeah, he's got
needs.
lots of options, and that's a credit to him and Edu, of course, for building a squad of players. And he has a real squad now that can challenge at the top of the league. That's why they're top of the league at the minute. You mentioned Jorginho brings nice and control, but I thought today was perfect for Partey and Rice because of the North London derby, because of the atmosphere, because of that. Sometimes you need a strong foot in there as well.
And I think just a point on that is Spurs were so on top towards the end of the game, and that in seasons gone past, or maybe earlier this season or last season, it probably would have ended up 3-3. But because of characters like Declan Rice and Thomas Partey, they ended up just about seeing it out. And fair play. If you're going to win the Premier League, which they're still into it, you've got to do some stuff like that.
They did, and it's been a blessing for Arsenal with the set-piece coach. It does come down to the quality of the ball that's coming in, which has been very, very good.
This is where Spurs thought they were level, Tim?
Yeah, it was a little bit of a mix-up. He's hit the shot, it gets deflected. I think it's a deliberate attempt by Tomiyasu to play the ball, and then it comes off of Gabriel and it runs into the path of Mickey van de Ven. He takes it very well, but unfortunately it was ruled out.
Spurs then didn't get a penalty they were asking for, and Bukayo Saka took charge.
But we knew on the counter-attack they will be clinical and they will be very dangerous, obviously, because of how Tottenham playing with the full-backs. As a striker, it's always difficult to come back and stop up Bukayo. What a finish this was, very calm. It make it look on TV very easy, but I can guarantee you this is one of the most difficult goals you can score.
Yeah, a great ball. We're talking about a yard out there. So I know that they're talking about Ben White with a goalkeeper, but he's got to do better than that. And this was a worry. He's got himself in two minds, because that's what Mikel wants. He wants him to be the last player back and be that calm influence, but he kind of got put under pressure and he cracked under that there.
And this is the penalty that he was asked to look at, and it just made Arsenal a little nervy at the end.
Yeah, that was rash as well. I mean, the ball's gone high up in the air. Sonny takes it brilliantly. No one's saving that one. And it made it a nervy last few minutes, but they hang on. That's what champions do. If they want to be champions, they're going to have to hang on in games like this. Years ago, they would have lost that game. Perhaps last year they would have lost that game. So it's looking positive for Arsenal, but Man City are just a juggernaut and they're running away.
But that is the 100th Premier League win as a manager for Mikel Arteta, and a very important one at that.
Quality in the last thirds. They put the ball wide, so many players in the box. Anything can happen, becomes a game of chaos. But we are lucky to have the keeper that we have, because he made an individual error, but after the way he played, it was reaction outstanding. The first thing that he did is lift Guy Magalhaes from the floor. So he said, I own this moment, I'm going to make a step forward, and he was magnificent.
Yeah, during those last few moments, did you think back to Liverpool last year? Did you think back to West Ham last year? And do you now stand here thinking that's a sign of progress? Because last year, I know it's a slightly different goal margin, but last year we didn't see it through, and now you have.
Yes, but the reality is that anything can happen in this moment. When the game becomes very chaotic, mentally, emotionally, it's very difficult to handle. The first thing comes to your mind is, what if they score another one? What if they now draw the game? And mentally, I think we were really good, really solid. The changes help as well, and we get it done.
So what would have been the what if? I mean, you could have you know, it could happen to the players. They say, what if they score again? That's the title gone. It's a big mental challenge there.
I don't know. We're thinking for the second half is go and score the fourth one and kill the game. And that was the approach that we had at time. We know that it's a team that's going to generate moments. They have so much quality. They are really well coached. They're going to get you deep in many moments, and you have to deal with that. But again, to come here 2 years in a row and done what we've done, I think it's a big credit to the team.
You're always a threat from corners. I think that's 16 now you've scored. Today in particular, what had you spotted with maybe the near post corner or one?
Tell you that.
I mean, the game's gone now, Mikel.
Obviously, every team has certain spaces, even open play that we want to attack, and the goal that we scored it's one that we spotted, and yeah, we had our weaknesses as well, and trying not to highlight them too much.
Does today tell us that whatever happens, Arsenal aren't going away?
Away where?
Well, away in terms of the title.
We're not going away.
Not to Dubai or anything like that.
We are right on it. We are right on it. 3 games to go. We have to play 2 games at home. We're going to try. The next one's going to be Bournemouth. They just beat Brighton 3-0, I think. So they are in great form. It's going to be a really difficult game again, but we are really pleased. Let's enjoy tonight.
Well, they will, and they need to. They've got 3 games left to play now. Last season, of course, they lost 2 of their last 3. Is that what he's talking about there, the difference in mentality 12 months on?
Yeah, because I thought that one today was a brilliant performance, going to a Tottenham side, giving up possession, 3-0 up when they had, I was thinking like 30-odd% possession, because they changed their game, because they know that the main thing here is to get a result. Of course, in the end, it got a bit close for comfort for me, but they got it done. And that's what I believe that they're looking to do now, is get it done. I know that Bournemouth will be a tough one, but you get it done and then you go again, because that's what has to happen at this stage of the season. City will be doing the same.
We talked about City. I mean, Arsenal, those 3 games, Bournemouth at home, United away, Everton at home. Do you expect them to win out? Do you expect them to get 9 points? I know they have to, but do you expect them to get 9 points out of 9, Addy?
Arsenal or...
Arsenal.
Obviously, with Arsenal, everything is possible, isn't it? Because we all know how good they can play, and this team is very young and very talented. But if you ask me now, I'm not sure that they're going to get 9 out of 9. I'm not sure, because with them, everything can happen. We saw a couple of weeks ago against Aston Villa at Emirates. We were all thinking they will win that game. They end up losing 0-2 at home, so which make it difficult. But now, if it comes to their rival, who's Man City, if you ask me if I think they can win the next 20 games, I would tell you with confidence, yes, because of how they approach the game. They have some experienced players. They know how to deal with it. Don't get it twisted. Now, Arsenal are looking better, looking stronger. Obviously, but yes, these players, most of them were there last season. So they have gained an experience. He said it already. Last season, this game today against Tottenham could have ended up either 3-3 or 3 or 4-3 for Tottenham. But they managed to win it because they have the personality, they have the character, and they show mentality to win it at the end. So they're growing. But if you ask me now, am I sure that they're going to win the last 3 games? I can't guarantee that. I'm not sure.
But they have to, Tim, don't they? Because
they have
if
to,
they drop any points, they're not going to.
No, they have to. I think they will. I think they will win the last 3, but I don't think it'll be enough. I think Man City will go.
They'll win their last 4.
I just think they will. I really do. I know Tottenham's not a good ground for Man City. But I think Tottenham, where they play today, if they're going to leave them spaces, I think they get exploited, especially with a big man up front now back to full fitness. Phil Foden will be back. I think they missed him today. A little sharpness, a little cutting edge. It'll be a difficult game for Tottenham, that one. So I think it's the only one they're going to drop points from.
Just a word on Tottenham, Addy. They're 7 points off Villa with 2 games in hand. But as I said, they've got to play City and Liverpool. Yeah, as well. I mean, it's going to be very difficult to deliver Champions League football.
They start the league very well, obviously, with a new coach, new tactics, and everything was in place, and they were winning games. But when people start to get to know how you're playing, putting the both full backs in front of the opponent half or in front of the box, it's difficult, because it will be very, very difficult for them. But they have built something for this club that every single year now they have to fight to win the Champions League because of the new facility, the new training ground, and I think I don't know whether they call it White Hart Lane or whatever, the new stadium. Yeah. For me, it's one of the best stadiums in the world. I had a chance to play literally everywhere. I played in Madrid, I played in Camp Nou, I played in Old Trafford. But I think the new stadium, the last year I was there to watch Tottenham against Marseille. For me, it was a beautiful experience. I was so happy to be there, and everything just looked new and clean and beautiful. So They can afford to not be in the Champions League. But the way they're playing now, it will be very difficult.
But aside from the title race, Arsenal have to enjoy tonight, as Mikel Arteta says. Back-to-back away wins in the derby. First time since 1988.
Yeah, but, you know, it's a great achievement, but it's an achievement in a time where, the focus and the pressure is on. So it's very difficult to enjoy it. You know, I mean, yes, you in the moment, you're probably already thinking about Bournemouth. You know, the relief is more than anything else now to win that game because of the derby and how it was going and how it ended up 3-2. It got pretty close. It would have been relief more than anything because they know they can't afford to lose any games, because you look at City's and it looks like City can win all theirs. And I'd probably go with Tim and say, I think we can win all of them. Bournemouth, I think, will be the toughest one. I think Man United, we've seen how open Man United are. We might be able to go there and be very disciplined and beat them. And Everton, probably, they are safe. So you think Bournemouth will be the one. But again, you look at Manchester City's games, and I don't know who are going to stop them in Manchester City's games.
300 Premier League games in charge of Manchester City today. Only the fifth manager to do it in the Premier League era at one club. Shows you how hard it is.
Why would you want to leave that club? We stayed there for another 300, wouldn't he? I mean, with that success and the tools what they give him to work with. I mean, he's a brilliant manager. I think he's the best coach we've ever seen in the Premier League. It's a joy to watch his teams. For me, anyway, I love it. I would love to have played for him. I think people pay a lot of money for education of their kids. Get them in front of. They're getting paid. They're actually getting paid to play for that man and learning all the time. If you want to go into management, you learn so much of him. I think Mikel Arteta's done exactly the same. He's learned a lot from that man. I think he's a genius. I really do. I think he's the best we've ever seen. I think Sir Alex Ferguson is the best manager because the trophies suggest that. Obviously, Arsene Wenger will be up there. I have to say that with these two here. But he's a genius. He's a genius. And I know he gets the tools to work with, but 300 games, do another 300. He's got the energy. I mean, every single season he looks like he's on it. He pushes his foot to the floor and he doesn't let them let up. Anyone lets up, they don't play.
And 14 trophies in his time at City and still fighting for another 2 this season.
As Tim Sherwood said, and I regret, that's the only thing I regret in my career, not playing for him, because when I had that season in 2008, he was my wake-up call. Every morning he was calling me, join me in Barcelona, come join me in Barcelona. Obviously, I didn't want to leave Arsenal because I have a great moment and I created a bond of a family.
So you spoke to him?
A lot of times, yeah. Like literally every day for like 2 weeks non-stop. Every single morning, 5, 6 a.m. he was calling me. So it's the only regret in my career. Obviously, I have a chance to speak and talk and chat with Guy Clichy in Turkey, with Yaya Toure, and they all told me how great he is as a manager. He could have added something more into my game, into my football. But, you know, it's always good to be able to watch him and see what he's doing today with City. The project that we started, remember we started City project in 2009, and see where the team is today, what they have achieved is just incredible. Because we believed in the project and today is doing quite well.
So it was basically the right move, just at the wrong time for you?
For me, yes, exactly, yeah. But, you know, sometimes life happens, and maybe if I end up also with him in Barcelona, it could have been worse. So, you know, you have to look at both sides. Today, I'm happy for him for whatever he's doing, and I'm happy also staying in Arsenal because for me, I have no reason leaving a club that I cherish that much. Obviously, my idol, who was Nwankwo Kanu, was playing for that club. That's why whatever Arsene Wenger was gave me Nwankwo Kanu's locker place in the dressing room, and his number 25 shirt on my back, and that make me really, really happy. And that's why when I left Arsenal, you can see the hunger because it's a club that I love with all my heart. I didn't want to leave, but things happened, and today I'm still happy being a player for Arsenal, and today seeing Pep Guardiola what he's doing around the world, as he said. And I think if you're going to count 2 or 3 best manager that ever existed in football, I think he's definitely among those 3.
Imagine that, Pep Guardiola ringing you at 5 a.m. every morning, asking you to join you.
Yeah, I could, yeah. But you look at Emmanuel and the way he played, what he's capable of doing. You know, he said it himself there, where he could have maybe taken his game to another level in respect of what he was doing. But like he said, he was happy where he was. And that's what happens. People don't realise that happens in football. Sometimes you have to make decisions like that, where you make a decision, and as long as when you finish, you realise, you know, something. I feel like I made the right decision for myself. But at least one of the greatest managers in the world thought that I could play for him, and that's big enough testament as it in itself.
5 a.m. He was just coming in.
For me, already it's an achievement because I can say loud on TV here that he wanted me. So which means one of the best managers that ever existed knew that I got a quality. So that's for me, coming from Togo, from wherever I came from, for what I had as a career, it's a plus for me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's good to know that there's the odd player out there who doesn't get Pep Guardiola anyway.
Well,
he doesn't get every single player that he wants, Pep Guardiola out there. The odd one says no, not many. And he's surrounded by players.
Oh, yeah.
He's come into a dressing room that have been there, done it, just won all three.
Well, it was interesting what he said in the interview about, like, that's what they're talking about. Everybody hears it all the time, about City know how to navigate this end of the season. But, like, he's probably still nervous simply because he hasn't done that yet. But he's got the people around him that keeps him calm. But what was really good about that goal and the goals he scored is the way he's attacking that ball. You know, you got Kevin De Bruyne putting it in, and he's just attacking that ball. And, you know, he's obviously got the feel for it now. He knows that he's in a team that can do it, and like he seems to have, he's got the confidence from that. So he's going and expressing himself in the opponent's box now, scoring goals, helping the team over the line.
And one of those players who's been and done it many times in his dressing room is Rodri. He's got another landmark today. 70 games he's played for City since he lost one, and he just constructed things again from midfield today.
Yeah, he's incredible. I mean, he just breaks the game up. He's always in the right place at the right time, dictates the pace of the game. For me, he's like Hoover. You know, he just hoovers up any rubbish, anything. He just any scraps, and he restores order with passing ability as well. It's just magnificent. He's just always cultured. Look at him. Look, stands on his feet all the time. You hardly ever see him go to ground. He chips in with big goals on big occasions. But he just fills space and he just recognises it. See there, just like the weight of pass. It looks simple, but it's not. You know, he's a walking brain of Guardiola. He will play. When he's fit, he plays. Look, that says everything. I mean, he's just he's an extension of the manager on the pitch. That's exactly what you need. He's a manager's dream. He will give you not one restless night, not one. And he knows he's going to send the correct message out to the rest of the players when he's on that pitch.
When it comes to this type of players outside, because obviously I'm kind of based in Africa and I'm watching the league, most of the time I'm telling the players, my friends, when we are watching the game, how important this player is, but they still don't believe. You have to be in football. You have to actually play one time a professional football in your life to understand this type of player, because he will never take the ball and do oversteps or whatever, but he dictates, like he said, he's the one that giving the rhythm to the game. Whatever, if he wants the game to go fast, it will go fast. If he wants it to slow down, it will slow down. That's how important Rodri is for Manchester City. Without him, as he said, he's the second manager on the pitch.
And he's probably, out of the entire squad, which is an unbelievable squad, the one they haven't actually got a direct replacement for.
No, they haven't. And we've seen that when he's been missing, they lose games. But that's an unbelievable record. You know, not lost in 70. I don't know what that feels like for him to not lose.
I mean, the self-belief must be off the charts.
It's amazing, you know what I mean? It's the kind of record you don't want to know. You just want it to carry on. But, like, that just proves, I suppose, his impact on the team and how confident you will feel with him in the team, you know, because of what he does. It's just like even seeing him there, like when the ball's going that way, he's already moving back towards the centre of the pitch, and then all of a sudden the game comes back towards the pitch and then he intercepts it. Those things are why he's those players like him, like Kante, when you watch Kante and he can go, you know what I mean, how great they are, you know, how great they are in that position, and how comes that position has become so important in the game.
Well, it says that. We've seen the money, what the teams have spent all over the Premier League for that sitting midfield player.
Declan Rice, Caicedo, and the players, the money they've spent on a player that can do that job properly or can prove to do that job properly. Look at Declan Rice. We can't do without Declan Rice in that team. You know what I mean? Rodri as well. You look at Rodri and what he does. When you do that job properly, your team are going to be successable.
If you're looking for tiny little omens, the last league game he lost was away at Tottenham. And City have still got to play them, so...
Yeah. Well, you know, unfortunately, I've seen Tottenham in the last few games, and I don't think Tottenham are going to be able to stop this City. No way. I can't see it.
We'll see that in a moment.
We'll kick off with Nick Callow from Haters.
Hi.
How were your nerves at the end there?
I was praying. So many space bodies in our box. It was a really emotional game. Very tough place to come. Obviously, incredible atmosphere, stadium, and a great team to play against. 3-0 up, you are in control of the game. You come in the second half, and we were dominating the game and creating chances. And then, yeah, an individual error happens that clicks something. It puts a wrong message in your brain. But I think we started to deal with the situation better. Another one, and then it's game on. And they have the players, and they have the courage as well to put a lot of, and commit a lot of players forwards. And now we have to dig in, suffer, and react. And I'm very pleased the way the team has done it.
What were your thoughts on the error, as you called it?
It's part of football. It's the sequence of play. I don't like it. I don't like the principles that we apply in that moment and the orientation of the ball. And after that, it can happen. You misjudge the situation. You try to make the pass, then you don't, and you are in doubt zone. And they score. They take advantage of that. And the penalties is another principle inside the box that you cannot do. It's part of football. What I love is David does that. He picks my hands up. That is quite heavy. And then he was sensational for the last 20-25 minutes of the game. And this is what I love about our plays.
You spoke before the game about Arsene Wenger giving you advice saying that you need to find a way to win matches at the end of the season. Is that what we saw right at the end?
Yeah, maybe he could have given me the advice as well of try not to make it hard for yourself. But at the end, you can't just pretend to come here and don't suffer and have a comfortable afternoon and play a space of the park, because it doesn't happen, and you just have to see the games that have played against the top teams because they are a really good side.
On that note, was the plan in the first half to sit as deep as you did, or did Spurs sort of force you back and forth?
No, they force you. And we had an issue with the high press. We give so many balls away, simple balls. Our ball circulation wasn't good enough. The result has an impact. You are 2-0 up, and the result is having an impact as well. To feel more comfortable doing that, we looked at real threat as well on the counters. They commit so many players, so they force you as well with their structure as well to have one or two more players in certain areas that provokes you to be a little bit deeper. But we're okay that we didn't really concede much there, but I think the second half, in certain moments, especially with the ball, was better.
What's better for the psychology of title race? Winning 3-0 comfortably or coming through that?
I don't know. We're going to make that the second option is a great one, and the players can be more convinced. We've done it 2 years in a row here, which is extremely difficult. The manner was different last year as well. We had to suffer in the second half to win the game. So great. The team has another tool, something else to grab. That is the confidence that bigger stage, when you have to come to a bigger stadium, you can go and win it. So good learning.
Hey, Nico. We've talked a lot about Kai Havertz recently, but today we saw a 40-yard pass for an assist. We saw a striker's header for a goal. Are we seeing him unlock more and more parts of his game? It was quite a complete centre-forward performance.
He was sensational in every department today. He wasn't as his 100%. He was ill before the match. He was a bit struggling, and still he put the performance that he's put in. I thought he was unbelievable today.
Amy, pleasant.
Miguel, after the relentlessness of April and games every 3 days, what is it about your team that enabled them to come back from that difficult period where it looked like maybe everything's going wrong? Win, win, win. What can you tell us about them and their approach and how they behave with each other and what they want to do?
Well, first of all, how much you want it, how much they want it. Don't feel sorry for yourself. It's part of the journey. It's part of when you are at the highest competitive level. You're gonna have disappointment. The margins are so small; they're not gonna go always for you. And then how you react to that, and face the challenge, face the opportunity, and be brave. And I think this team has a lot of courage and determination to make it happen.
You have so much faith in the guys on the pitch, it seems.
I do have, yeah. The last few minutes, I was doubting a little bit, to be fair. But I think we were all there. But, yeah, they gave me no reason. I said to you before, they're going to be ready for Sunday. They played, as you said, a lot of minutes, a lot of games, emotionally very demanding month. But yesterday, I had to stop in training because they wanted more. So that's a good sign.
Congratulations. What's the mood in the dressing room? A sigh of relief or just happy for the 3 points?
Yeah, the mood is good. Very happy, to get a win and in a big game, in a derby. Away from home, it's a tough game. So yeah, really happy. And of course, I think how the game evolved, I think also you feel the relief. But yeah, big win and so nice.
It looked like very comfortable, and then one mistake from the goalkeeper gave Spurs something to fight. How did you react mentally to that, scoring the penalty from them?
I think we reacted in a good way. You know, I think mistakes is part of football, and yeah, we kept on fighting together. I think the game changed a bit, you know, in the second half, and they got their momentum. But we did so well to defend the box, especially towards the end. And yeah, you see how good we are there to defend and fight for each other, and how much we wanted to get 3 points today. And yeah, we got it. So really, really good.
Would you say this is the key difference from this season to comparing to last season, when you get into this time of the season where when you conceded you were rattled a little bit? You seem to be mentally more stronger this season.
Yeah, I think so. I think especially, you know, how we reacted now after the tough week with the Villa game, and then going out in Champions League, and to come back and put on performances and results like we've done lately is a massive compliment to the whole team, to the mindset, and yeah, today was another example of how we fight for each other, and we never give up, and how much we want to do this, you know. So it was a good one.
What's the mood in general, given that you have to win all your games and wait for Manchester City to slip in one of the games? What's the mood like in terms of mentality?
I think we're just focused. I think that's the main thing, to stay focused. We know what we have to do. We have to play to win every time we play, and we have to focus on ourselves, you know, take it game by game and keep winning our games. And yeah, that's the only thing we can do. And let's focus on that, and then we'll see.
Thank you so much.
Round being Sports with Ange Postecoglou, and a brilliant second half comeback. If we can go to the first half though and look at some of the details, then Kulusevski seemed to have been tripped by Trossard and stayed on his feet, which is you absolutely can applaud that. But then also, quite interestingly, the way that Ben White was getting in front of Vicario for both of those set pieces. Is that a time when defenders need to talk to each other and address that so it doesn't happen for a second time? Yeah, look, you know, I think for us as a team, it's still, we've still got to deal with the little details in the game and have clear focus on everything we do. And you can see that Arsenal do that. They make sure that everything is as they want it to be, and we're still a team that aren't as sort of focused for the whole game. And against good sides, you get punished, and we got punished today. And you know, when the game gets away from you that much, then it's difficult to get back in. What did you say to the team at half-time? Oh, just, you know, my main sort of message was that we owed our fans something. You know, we couldn't go out in the second half and just accept our fate. We had to go out there and show some fight and some resilience, which I thought the lads did, to be fair, and, you know, gave their supporters a bit of hope. And that was the main message, you know, not to go out there and just accept that it wasn't going to be our day, but to go out there and see if we could turn things around. Well, you absolutely showed that. You said ahead of this match that this is not a team you're going to be measured against in terms of the league and where you want to get for Europe. You've got those games in hand, of course. Unfortunately, not to capitalise on that draw with Villa. But you came back into this match. You now go up against Chelsea. They couldn't get back into a match against Arsenal. So does that give you something to pick up the team and go with again? No, look, I think, again, for us, it's more important about ourselves, our journey, and as you said, we've now got, you know, still 5 games, good games, real challenging games for us. So we go out there and we just got to recover now and get ready for a tough game at Chelsea and make sure we're ready for it.
First time in 36 years that Arsenal have won at Tottenham 2 seasons in a row. These gentlemen know all about the Arsenal-Tottenham rivalry. Would it be fair to say we would agree that this time last year Arsenal probably wouldn't have won that, especially having gone from 3-0 to 3-2 and everything, or every alarm bell ringing imaginable?
That's how I felt, for sure. I mean, I felt a little bit wobbly this time around, but certainly last season, the way it kind of all unravelled, to be so in control of the game, you're away from home in a derby, and then you give that first goal. I mean, that first goal goes in, the picture just changes. It's bizarre how it changes. It's psychological. Totally, the opposition, all of a sudden Spurs feel they've got something, the crowd get up, and you invite that horrible feeling, that pressure. Second goal, penalty, and all of a sudden you start to think, wow, 3-3, this could certainly end up 3-3. And it was out of nowhere, Arsenal in total control at that moment.
But they got over the line, and at this stage of the season, more than any other stage, that's all that matters, isn't it? It doesn't matter to win 3-0 cruising or 3-2, and actually they proved a little bit of mettle. That's all that matters in the end.
Yeah, they were tested for sure, as you said there.
even when it went to 3-2, I was calm because I don't think Spurs had created too much. I mean, as you said, it was two individual mistakes that got them back into the game. But as you said, last season, you'd have worried and you said, I know what's coming here. But they're just a different team this year. And even if you look at their away form of late, they're pretty much spotless, faultless. So it's one of those where to go 3-0 in a game of that magnitude, that takes some doing. I'm sure when they kind of pick the bones out of it, maybe tomorrow or the next day, they might think about the two mistakes. But at this stage of the season, it's not necessarily about the performances, it's about the result.
Yeah,
and they managed to get that.
It's the biggest improvement they've made, haven't they? Arsenal. You know, they've kind of become a lot tougher. They're grinding out games that they would have lost, and they might not be pretty games, but they get the win. And they're defensively, I think, you know, they've been so sound. They're two giveaway goals, really. Other than that, like you said, Spurs didn't really trouble them too much.
It's the first two goals they've given away on the road for literally ages and ages. You talk about defensive. That's Arsenal's fourth game since Tottenham last played. When we have a look at the goals from the first half, I think if you're a Tottenham fan, you go, has nobody been picking up on what Ben White gets up to at corners? I mean, everyone's got... They don't have a set-piece coach, interestingly, Tottenham.
No.
There's a lot that they're missing, isn't there?
No, well, Arsenal certainly do.
Yeah, they do.
And don't we know it?
Yes.
It's been a huge part of their season, the most successful part of their season. They're just outstanding at it. That delivery goes into that near post area all the time with real pace. I mean, Declan Rice's delivery the other side is brilliant, and Ben White just stops the goalkeeper from any kind of movement.
Now, we'll come back to the first clash there between Trossard and Kulusevski. There's none that Maddison's thrown himself over, I'm afraid, hasn't he?
Yeah.
And this is classic counter-attacking. Now, from a defensive point of view, just talk us through Ben Davies here up against Saka.
Well, I was screaming at the television, right foot, right. Keep him on his right foot. At no cost does he come in and do that. Yeah. That is absolutely not.
Right, there's the contact. Trossard and Kulusevski.
Not
just
for me.
Coming together.
Yeah, you can't just start giving penalties away for that because for me, that's not a penalty.
Absolutely agreed. Just a clip of the heels.
OK, and Saka finishes off 2-0. And then the same again, Ben White, in a way, as you can see, Darren, right on Vicario.
Yeah, and this is something they're going to have to sort out, Spurs. Because
Kulusevski runs into his own player.
I mean, it's a great delivery and a great header, but from a defensive standpoint, again, Vicario, he's got to be strong. And people are starting to clock onto this because West Ham did it to him, Arsenal have done it to him again. Ben White doesn't really do a lot wrong. He kind of holds his ground and just blocks him from coming. But, the delivery has to be spot on, which it is. But he doesn't give himself a chance. He doesn't adjust his position to go and claim the ball. And he almost goes over so soft. I think referees as well, he's not going to start getting those decisions.
No. You would think that you'd want to get a player involved. Like goalkeepers a lot of the time would call a player in to say, you deal with him, or try and put a defending player between you and Ben White. So somebody's dealing with that while you can focus on going and getting the ball as a goalkeeper. It's almost like the team just left Vicario to deal with it, and he didn't. He didn't move, he didn't try and adjust his position.
Because if Vicario's not going to do... I mean, you played with David Seaman. David Seaman wouldn't allow that, would he?
One of
you would have got in there.
One of his biggest strengths was that he was a brilliant talker, and he was direct, and he would just tell... In his box, you did what David Seaman said. Otherwise, there was trouble. So it would have been, Matt, you come and mark him. You come and sit in here, get between me and him, allow me to come and claim the ball, or so I can move, or... There would have been something just to try and stop it. But for the second time... for it to happen, they just didn't deal with it.
It's a slightly weird game, wasn't it? Because Arsenal were 3-0 up without actually necessarily playing as well as they have done in other weeks. And then in the second half, when it looked like they were just going to see the game out, as Matt said, suddenly David Raya just hands the initiative to Tottenham in the sense of getting the crowd up and giving them something to hang on to.
Yeah, it's a poor mistake, and I understand that you've got to stick to your principles. The manager wants him to play a certain way. As you could quite clearly see there are other options, easier options, but Mikel Arteta wants him to play a certain way. But I think experience, you have to know the surroundings. 3-0 up, just clear it. Everyone squeezed up the pitch, you play in their half. But when you look at it here, I think he gets caught in two minds. He wants to play to Thomas Partey. I think Romero spooked him. I think Papa Sarr coming up behind him spooked him. And he just got caught in between. But then even then, he doesn't do anything to rectify it. He doesn't go and close the space. He just holds his position. And in the end, it's a fairly simple finish from Romero.
I mean, even if that ball makes it to Partey, what is he going to do with that? He's got a ball chipped into his throat with players around him. It's just a poor decision
This
from
one's
David Raya.
interesting that Michael Oliver doesn't give it with the naked eye, because look where Michael Oliver is. He's very well positioned. And it's that classic one where Declan Rice is watching the flight of the ball, goes to follow it, doesn't realise the player's there.
I mean, it's completely accidental. Maybe that's in the referee's thinking that it's just totally accidental, but it doesn't matter in that moment. He really does kick through Ben Davies.
There we are. That's Arsenal's record this year and what they've done. And You know, we were talking about Arsenal improving every season. So you go back a couple of seasons ago, they probably felt they should have finished in the Champions League positions. They didn't. They finished 5th. Last season, they were leading up till the beginning of April. Then they really fell away badly. It looks like there is a progression every season, doesn't there? Now we've got to this stage of 3 games to go. No one's to say that, you know, the last 3 games might not go well. But you can clearly see them getting better every season, can't you?
Absolutely. A steady progression. Different type of players coming into the club. I think Kai Havertz has been, you know, shown that he's a different type of player. A lot of raised eyebrows at the start, but he's effective in a different way. The 2 centre-backs, the midfield, I mean, how solid they are as a team. Martin Odegaard now, for me, his biggest strength is out of possession. The way he presses, the way he leads Arsenal when they don't have the ball, makes them hard to play against. And they've just got better and better at all those, almost like the horrible things that win you those matches.
Do you think they'll take it to the last day?
I do, yeah. I do. I think you look at last season where they fell off, as you said, at April. I think luck plays its part. You look at the injuries they lost last season. Saliba was a big one. Thomas Partey got injured on international duty, was never the same afterwards. All of a sudden, Saliba's fit. Thomas Partey's now coming back to full fitness. It looks like he's got a full squad to pick from. During Timber, he's been now starting to get a few games. So I think it will go to the last game of the season. And with the experience they had last season, I fully expect them to push them all the way, right to the very end.
67% for Manchester City. So basically 2/3 City, 1/3 Arsenal, roughly.
All Arsenal got to keep doing is winning their games, but City won't go away. So I fully expect City. I don't think they'll get beat by anybody. They could draw a game. That's what people are hoping up. But to go turn up and beat Manchester City, I mean, that takes some doing that.
Here we go. Here are the fixtures. So Arsenal got Bournemouth at home. Manchester United away. They're still Manchester United. Also have not got a good record at Old Trafford. Everton at home. City have got Wolves at home, Fulham away, Tottenham away, West Ham at home. And Liverpool have got Tottenham at home, Villa away, Wolves at home. You'd have worked out there, I'm sure by now, that Tottenham could do Arsenal a massive favour in this title race.
Yeah, I'm sure that'll be their motivation.
That'll be the weirdest atmosphere of all time at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
But that final week,
yes,
I mean, 9 points out of those 3 games for at this stage of season.
With a cup final at the end of it.
That is a big ask. I don't think that is huge. 9 points out of those 3 games in what, 8 days? So Saturday, Wednesday, Sunday.
Yes.
That's a big ask at that stage of the season.
Do you think Arsenal win the last 3? If Arsenal don't, this doesn't really matter, does it?
Yeah, I think people would have looked at the Manchester United game and thought that could be a toughie. But when you look at the way that Manchester United have been playing of late, Arsenal have got to go there full of confidence. And they can win that game for sure.
Yeah. OK, we'll see what happens.
It's going to be a tough day for Ben Davies today because you could see, again, we're talking about a player who knows exactly what the derby means at a time of the season where, you know, it was more about the performance and making sure you do perform. And he did. He caused Ben Davies a lot of problems. Obviously, he had to go off in the end. But I was really pleased with the fact that they were so in control of what they needed to do, especially once they got back in the game, Tottenham. I mean, it's to stay calm. They've done so well to get to this point. You can't do rash things, which we saw the goalkeeper do, unfortunately. And even the penalty, what was given away, was quite a rash decision to make from Declan simply because of where the ball is. There's going to be a player in and around it. You've got to be a lot more careful about that. But, like he said, the main thing was getting the 3 points, and that's the main thing.
We played at the penalty shout at the start of Saka's goal from Tottenham's point of view, that they thought on field, but you were happy, nothing doing here?
I was, yeah. I don't think there was. There was a clip there, but I think it was more Kulusevski leaving his leg there. No, I was happy with that decision. I thought they got that one right.
And from then on, Tottenham were in trouble.
Yeah, Bakaya makes you listen. His run there, he's going to run offside if he runs in a straight line. But what he does, he pulls himself to the right-hand side, so he still has the momentum going forward. If he stops. You see the clip there, but you can see, I'm not sure, that's certainly not intentional. Trossard's leg does catch him, but that's not a penalty for me. But I just love the movement of Bukayo Saka. Yeah. When he runs forward, you know, like I say, if he stops and he starts again, he pulls himself to the right. Yeah. So he's still moving forward, the momentum's still forward, and he knows exactly what he wants to do. So does Ben Davies, but it's easier said than done. Stop him coming in on the inside. That's what Ernst Foster-Coglu would have been shouting on the side. Don't let him come on his left side. But once he shifts it, it's a great finish.
What is great about that is when you're watching a lot of the strikers now is the blatant nature in which they just go forward. They're not looking on the line. The margins are so tight. In front of you there, Steve, you tried to go forward, but you've got to run forward, but you've got to do a move so you stay level with this guy, you know? And that's what he done, and he done it very subtly. So you could see it. He's running, then he does that, and then he starts doing that. And those are the little things that I'd like to see forwards doing more. They're not doing enough for me to stay on side when they are offside, when the margins are so small.
Interesting.
I think the hardest thing he has done there is the first touch.
Yeah, beautiful.
Normally, and every single player would try to control the ball with their right foot, but he put the his lefty, so he find a way to control that ball, put it on the ground. That's the most difficult because you can see the ball coming, the ball is about to bounce. And he controlled that ball so well, then everything becomes easier. He opened his body, go as if he's going on the right, block his run, come back his left, and finish. And that's what I'm saying. Bukayo today, he's one of the best Arsenal. You cannot leave him alone. When you allow him to have a lot of space, he would definitely punish you, and that's what he has done today.
And they punish every team from set piece. 2 corners again today. Yeah. Tottenham knew it was coming. They couldn't deal with it.
They couldn't deal with it. The balls in, Steve, I've got to give them, were amazing. But when you look at them at the back there, no one protecting Vicario, because I think when you look where this header is, if he's got some protection, he might be able to go out. Not with that one there, but he might be able to get himself in a position where he can maybe get close to the front post. But with this one, when you see where they're coming from, where the header ends up from Kai Havertz, I think the goalkeeper's got to move from there and go and punch it. Yeah. He's a yard out. He cannot get involved in that. Now the second after Pulsar, it's too late. It's a big mistake from there, from the coaching staff.
I think here it's a team mistake because they considered 2 goals, a player disturbing the keeper. So which means there is something wrong there. You have to talk, you have to communicate and tell them, as a keeper already, you are strongest. Because I can't see anybody going to do that into Jens Lehmann.
Yes.
When I was playing with him in Arsenal. Or Joe Hart when he was playing with City. It's impossible, but now you are getting bullied. First one, you consider 1 goal, but it can't happen second time. You turn around, you see the opponent striker behind you. Call somebody if you can.
One there. I mean, the timing of Ben White's perfect. I mean, the ball's on its way and then he just steps in front both times. Yeah, he impedes him, but the goalkeeper's not strong enough. But you see when he comes up on Raya, Vicario, he's not trying to head it. What he's trying to do is stop the goalkeeper coming. So he knows how important it is himself as a goalkeeper. So he goes and stands right in front of him to try and keep the ball. Look, this is the last few minutes of the game. He knows if I can pin the goalkeeper in here, then it's just who can jump, who can attack it the best. And the goalkeeper can stick his hands up. He knows how important it is. That's why he put himself in that area. There's the set piece coach. But he's done a lot of good work. I think today they won this game. Tactically, they've won this game. I mean, I call tactics set pieces as well. I mean, 2 very important detail of set pieces. Plus, from Mikel's point of view, not dominating and controlling the football match today, but sometimes just sitting back. Just sitting back, controlling it and catching them on a counter-attack. He knew exactly the shape which Tottenham would play. He knew the fullbacks would vacate them areas. He knew he'd be able to exploit it. And they suffered out of possession today. They normally dominate.
38% they had. Exactly. Second lowest all season.
When did you ever see that?
Second lowest all season.
He knows. He's gone into this game knowing that's going to be the case. Because he knows exactly how Tottenham want to play. When they throw bodies forward, it's because they get more players in the midfield areas. If they're not perfect in possession, they will give the ball away and they will get exploited with the spaces what they leave. And that's exactly what happened in the first half. 3 down at half-time could have been naughty. Could have been a cricket score here today. Could have been 6 or 7. Credit to Tottenham that they rolled their sleeves. They got back in. The goalkeeper, Raya, has gotten back in the game with a ridiculous error. You know, he's given them away 3-0 up. You know, in a game of that magnitude, and you go and try and chip that ball into midfield, which is a nothing pass, gives it to Romero, he puts it in the goal. All of a sudden, the crowd are up, and now it's a different football match.